Good morning, good morning, good morning again, folks. Welcome to another episode of Spilling Tea. I'm your host, Tiffany Daniels. We're going back to that horrible world known as the JRC. But before we get going, the usual disclaimers, and of course, the disclaimer before the disclaimer, where I warn you about the stupidity we are about to have to endure. In the next part of this, folks, we're going to start talking about mechanical restraint. Now, why this is rich coming from Dr. Matthew Israel should not be, surprising at all. Considering his shock device can be, technically speaking, considered a mechanical device, as can be tying kids down with belts to a 4-point board or restraining them on a chair where you then proceed to shock them. The fact is, Dr. Matthew Israel has been caught with binding students and leaving them out for hours. So we're about to hear a whole bunch of lies, so be prepared for that, all right? All right, so let's go. Disclaimers, right? In the description box, you're going to find the link to the article the Judge Rotenberg Educational Center doesn't want you to read. It's written by NeuroClastic, a small non-for-profit started by autistics for autistics, wherein they interviewed and surveyed over 900 ABA professionals regards to the JRC's quote-unquote behavioral modification program. Matter of fact, the JRC doesn't want you to read this article so much they have threatened NeuroClastic with a defamation lawsuit if they do not remove it from the website. NeuroClastic has refused. So you know the drill, folks. Please read that article and don't forget to share it on all your social media. We also have linked in there NeuroClastic's public statement in regards to the defamation lawsuit threat, as well as a link to their GoFundMe. We are crowdfunding, folks, in case the JRC actually has the balls to see through with their threat. We got the pertinent links to the Agape boarding school situation as well. Agape boarding school is a Christian-themed boarding school based out of Stockton, Missouri that takes in so-called troubled male teens that has and pending over 21 civil lawsuits, claims, and allegations leveled against it. All of these claims have been substantiated by hard evidence found during the investigations done by the Missouri Department of Social Services, and these claims include rape, sodomy, sexual assault, child abuse, psychological and emotional abuse, starvation, and child trafficking. And that's just for starters. We have one former staff member arrested by the FBI, another a doctor still on the premises, with full access to the boys on multiple, again substantiated by hard evidence from the Department of Social Services of rape, sodomy, and sexual assault of the boys there. You have an attorney general too busy having frivolous lawsuits thrown at the government and also saying, we're going to save the kids from the drag queens. I don't need to be saved from the drag queens, Haas. I need to be saved from your fucking insane Christians who do schools like Agape and actually abuse kids, okay? Just saying. Now, hold on, folks. I'll be right back. I got it. Delivery, folks. Gotta love delivery. Sorry for that interruption, and I'm sorry I can't edit it out. I don't have an edit button, and I'm sorry I'm not as good as some of these big YouTubers who know how to make these videos a little bit more appealing. Sorry about that. But anyways, as I was saying, we have a governor who's hyped up on a power trip. So folks, please share all those articles. Don't forget to share and sign the change.org Shut Agape Boarding School Down petition. We got the pertinent links to the Stop the Shocks campaign as well, including Autistic Hoya's massive archive on the subject, the templates, and Jennifer Masumba's behavioral sheet of shockable offenses, a brief clip out of the 7-hour ordeal undergone by Andre McCollins back in 2002, the templates in the ever-present self-explanatory change.org Shut the Judge Rotenberg Center Down petition. When we discuss the JRC, folks, you're going to hear vivid descriptions of, catch clips of surveillance footage of peoples with disabilities being tortured and abused. If you got young children present, please go ahead and use your headphones, all right? All right. This channel is marked not for children for a reason. We use profanity and talk about dark subjects. If your child is 16 and younger and watching this channel, parental supervision is very obviously advised. Trigger warning, we are about to descend into the mad ravings of the lunatic mind known as Dr. Matthew Israel. You're going to hear gaslighting. You're going to hear bigotry. You're going to hear victim blaming. You're going to hear enough ableism to circle the world 3 times. You're going to hear lies and batshit insane pseudoscience. So just, be prepared for that and the imminent rant that is ultimately going to derive from this insanity, okay? All right, mechanical restraint. You have some balls bringing this up, doctor. When programs are unable to stop a child from dangerous self-abusive or aggressive behaviors, they may resort to a use of mechanical restraint. For example, if a child engages in constant eye poking, the program may have to resort to putting stiff tubes on the individual's arms to prevent the arms from bending, and may have to restrain the student to his or her bed at night with a restraining apparatus or sheet to keep the arms and legs from engaging in self-abuse. Mechanical restraint has many of the same problems as manual restraint. Fair enough. This doctor, he likes to do what a lot of these charlatans like to do. It gives you just enough truth to sound good, and then he hits you with the pseudoscience bullshit. Okay? The doctor is insinuating that putting a kid on a fucking shock device is better because they can move. First of all, that really doesn't work when you're being shocked with electricity and you have no more control over your muscles than the kid who's wearing the split is. Okay? He has this idea that what he does isn't restraint. But again, anyone with 2 brain cells to rub together know that's a lie. Those devices act indeed as physical restraints, not too much fucking different from the ones that he's demonizing right here. He's also not going to tell you that he engages in mechanical restraints himself all the time. Matter of fact, there are pictures out of the chair that they restrain kids to ride to and from school. Nor are they going to tell you that they will restrain them to that chair and then shock them multiple times. In fact, even the seat itself can be used to shock the student. And I know this because Autistica Hoya's massive archive, folks. What others has he engaged in? Again, I allude to the fact that he actually managed to cause the death of a child because of improper mechanical restraint. Okay? Dr. Matthew Israel wants you to believe that ruling through fear, through torture, through starvation is a better way than using something temporary. It's bullshit, folks, and it's bad for you. And I'm also going to bring up the gigantic elephant in the room that nobody seems to ever want to fucking discuss. Why is the child engaging in that behavior? Not why do you think, why are they actually engaging in the behavior? Remember, folks, behavior is communication. If they are engaging in these very threatening behaviors, there's something fucking wrong going on there. Okay? We don't just have these behaviors out of nowhere because we want fucking attention, folks. There is something wrong when we're engaging in these behaviors. We're trying to fucking tell you something that we can't physically tell you. Want to know where my meltdowns and self-dangerous behavior came from when I was a kid? I was being horrifically abused by my stepbrother during the time. Okay? And the resulting behaviors and meltdowns that came from the frustration, the anger, the anguish and the self-loathing on top of it that was coming out, it had a cause, very obviously. That's an extreme example, okay? There's reasons why these things occur. You want to know the best method of restraint, folks? Finding out what's causing it in the first place. And whether it's a direct intervention to get yourself away from the person who's targeting you, or whether it's sensory, whether it's reasonable accommodations, whether it's therapy, whether it's teaching better therapeutic coping mechanisms, these are the best tools in the toolbox when it comes to dealing with these behaviors. And by the way, if any idiot wants to struggle in and say that, well, you can't do that for the nonverbals, they don't know what's going on, go talk to them one of these times. And I don't mean talk to them in baby voice like they're fucking two and don't understand a word that you say. Talk to them like the adults that they are. Because they can respond to you. Some use sign language. Some use typing on a mechanical device that may talk out loud for them. Some even write on notebooks. Some of them write beautiful fucking poetry. Please don't start with me. The best kind of defense is a good offense, folks. You ever hear that in football? Yeah, there's a reason for that. So yeah, let's move on here. Such restrictive procedures are routinely used when necessary in positive-only program and are not objected to by the anti-aversive advocates. Again, lie. Lie, doctor. I will again point to you folks that we do actually have a full-blown movement called End Seclusion and Restraint. And matter of fact, NeuroClastic, who they have threatened with a defamation lawsuit, is very much indeed a part of that movement. I am also involved in it. ASAN is involved with it. ASAN is by none the most highly recognized and largest of the groups who's behind that particular movement. He's trying to tell you, ASAN, who's been fighting them like me for over a fucking decade, approves of this shit. They do not. I have a very good authority by the name of Ari Newman who says it's not. Okay? That is a lie. What we encourage is to find the reason behind the behaviors, provide the reasonable accommodations, assistance if it's sensory, being taught proper coping mechanisms. And no, I'm not meaning trying to force us into neurotypical acting people. I mean real, logical, fucking coping skills. Okay? There's a huge motherfucking difference between the two. Do not get it twisted. That is what we support. That's what we propose. We think offense is the best defense. Let's take care of getting to the root of the issue that is causing the behavior to occur, and let's deal with it. Because that is how you bring down these behaviors to a minimum, folks. Getting to the heart of it. Now, is it going to stop it every single time and will it bring these incidents down to zero? No. That's fantasy world. That's where Dr. Matthew Israel wants you to live. I want you to live in reality. Reality is this is a fucked up world and it is definitely not built for people like me. I'm going to melt down, even as an adult. I'm going to engage in those behaviors due to the fact that I have PTSD. And I do have those fucking moments. Okay? But what you can do by using this very logical way of doing things is bring those behaviors down to a minimum to the point that we are able to lead and live our own lives. All right? Very simple. I'm going to go ahead and close out on this one because I want to do another video to get into the warehousing. But before we do, let's wrap it up, shall we? Again, this is another effort of Dr. Matthew Israel to sit there and point and project his sins onto other programs he does not understand, has never studied, and has no authority to talk about whatsoever. He is once again saying, but they use it in positive behavioral reinforcement. First off, he's not even using the correct term for that particular treatment program. That should be a red flag right fucking there. We also know, due to the 2006 response to the New York report, that him and his staff do not even know what positive reinforcement is, how it's utilized, and how it works. I can say with very good authority that as a matter of fact, these restraints are not used in that program as an adversive. I've already gone over why, how, and when they are usually used. And they are always, folks, a last fucking resort. It is not to be used as a punishment to punish the behavior. Nor is it, as Dr. Matthew Israel tried to insinuate, a part of their program. It's absolutely fucking not. As a person who has signed off on people joining into a positive behavior reinforcement programs, as their advocate on the side of the person with the disability, I can tell you right now that is an absolute fucking lie. Now I'm going to close out. We don't get very many views on this channel, folks. The few that we do tend to get removed from time to time. So please don't forget to hit the like button, hit subscribe, and don't forget to hit the comments. I do appreciate your time, and as always, we here at Spilling Tea hope you have a good one. Bye-bye.